right. So I guess if you could just introduce yourself real quick.
My name is Jonathan. I'm a senior at University of Alabama. My major is Management Information Systems, and I have minors in Japanese and Computer Science.
Now, you went into the study abroad program. What did you have to do to get into it?
Basically, what I did is I went and talked to my university programs department. Just about every university is going to have that department. I just went there and talked to them and got all the information I could and started the process.
Where did you go?
Well, I ended up going to a Japanese language school in Tokyo. I kind of had to do it through another university because my university they didn't have the program that I wanted. So I went to another university and had my credits transferred back to Alabama.
When you went over there, was it a requirement to have a language? And if so, how many language classes did you have to take before you were eligible to go?
Well, it's not necessarily a requirement. They're always going to depend on the program. My particular program didn't have a language requirement. You could start with no Japanese and move on up. But a lot of people will suggest that you finish at least at a minimum your 100 level classes, which is usually 2 classes. I would actually suggest finishing your 200 level classes, at least for Japanese, because by that time you'll have the basics that you need to kind of survive, on a daily basis and stuff like that, and you won't have to struggle so much.
Okay, so it's more of a recommendation than really.
Well, it depends on the program. Some programs may require you to have a certain level of proficiency.
What were some of the challenges you faced getting into the study abroad program, and what are some of the things you had to do? Like, was the application process, was it tough? I mean,
there's a lot of paperwork, and you have to talk to a lot of different people. You have to get all your courses approved and everything like that. Obviously, every program is different. I would think almost all study abroad programs are pretty strict on GPA. That was one of my problems. A lot of the programs wanted a 3.0 or 3.5 GPA, and I went quite at that limit. So didn't quite hit that mark. So I had to search some other options. But it's a lot of paperwork, and you got to do a lot of running around. It's kind of a long process, but I think it's worth it.
So did you enjoy being immersed in the culture and did you have I think you had a what's called a host family where you had to stay with someone?
Well, that was actually the first study abroad I did. I did a month-long study abroad maybe like 2 years ago, and that was awesome. That was I got the best host family in the world. To this day I still email them. I email them once, two or three times a month, and they send me pictures and I send them pictures, and they're great people. I learned a whole lot from them, and every time I go to Japan, I hang out with them. It's like they really have become another part of my family.
Now, it's my understanding you used your time over there to network a little bit. What was your you had a success story about a potential job offer that.
Well, I had a friend of mine on my rugby team that was in the IT industry, and he kind of passed my resume around to some people, and let a lot of people know I was looking for an internship while I was in Tokyo. And a lot of people were interested, but they they wanted some full-time people and stuff like that. And I'm still in college, so I needed to finish up. But I actually had one guy that he was really, really interested in. And he said he needed some people, and he liked my credentials, and said my Japanese was good enough to get the job done. But the problem is that Japan requires you to have a college degree to get the required visa to work in the IT industry over there. So he said, once you graduate or get close to graduation, give me a call and see if we can work something out.
Would you recommend this program to anybody?
I recommend it to everybody. I think everybody should do at least some type of study abroad. I wouldn't say everybody should do a year long, because I think that takes a certain kind of person. But I think anybody could handle at least a month to 2 or 3 month long study abroad, and it was the best decision of my life. there are countless things that I've taken away from the program, and even 2 years ago when I did the summer long study abroad in Japan, even just that was such a mind altering event. You know, there's so many different things that I was able to take away from it, and I would recommend everybody to do study abroad. You know, be it Japan or Spain or wherever it is you want to go.